folks. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Backstage Pass with Jarrid Lee. I got a very special guest. I say that about everybody, but this guy's awesome. Let's talk a little bit about who Brandon Baker is. If you haven't heard of him, you will based on the show, and of course other big things that he's doing out there in the world right now. Electric Religious. Electric Religious is the project of Edmonton-based Metis singer-songwriter Brandon Baker, whose guitarist-driven music has been described as bursting with inspiration, insight, and hope. Deeply influenced by the psychedelic sounds of Jimi Hendrix, Baker took his moniker from a Hendrix quote. When I get up on stage, I like that. That's my whole life. That's my religion. My music is electric church music. I am electric religious. Great quote. The debut Electric Religious album, Yeah, No, in 2018, featured the single Revolution. We're going to get to hear it here, which achieved a coveted spot on the CBC Searchlight Top 100 in 2019. That's a big deal for Canadians, and spent multiple weeks at number one on the IMC, Indigenous Music Countdown. So Electric Religious easily found a home among Canada's lush movement of feel-good guitar pop. Think Mother, Mother, and the stars coming together. Revolution hits the ground running, weaving capricious guitar, solid rhythms, and anthemic lyrics. There are plenty of twists, turns, and genre-bending movements. Suffice it to say, Yeah, No is a fit to be played on the radio and very loudly. That's a quote from Edmonton News. Electric Religious has performed for audiences as large as 50,000 people during the opening ceremonies for Red Bull, Crashed Ice in 2015 in Edmonton. If those of you that remember, Crashed Ice is where you go flying down the hill with your hockey equipment on. Hopefully you get to the bottom in one piece, which was broadcast to over 1.7 million viewers to network television and, of course, the YouTube streams. So in 2019, Baker began recording demos for his sophomore release titled Tragic Lover at Velveteen Audio in Edmonton, Alberta, working with Juno-nominated producer Brad Simmons. Noella Charles, Adult Contemporary Album of the Year, that's what we got to work with. Baker's collection of 7 new songs demonstrate his keen-eyed ability to unite themes of displacement, hope, intergenerational trauma, and healing in the songwriting. That's huge. Tragic Lover will be released in the fall of 2021. So without further ado, I bring to you none other than from Electric Religious, Mr. Brandon Baker. Let's get a background up there. What's going on, brother?
How's it going, Jarrid? It's going
good.
I mean, really well.
That's good.
Really well.
Right on. Let's talk a little bit about life here. Let's get to the music. We could talk about anything and everything that you want to within reason. Some of the comments already. Yee-haw! Because all right, got my cousin out in BC watching. So there's your bio. Let's talk about growing up in Saskatchewan. You're from Saskatchewan originally?
Yeah, that's right. I was born in Prince Albert, Saskatchewan, on the North Saskatchewan River. And I spent, my whole life there. And I think PA is beautiful. It gets a bad rap because, there's violence and all that kind of stuff there, just like any other place, really. But I just thought that growing up there was I was super fortunate to do it because all the places around there is just so beautiful. And one thing though, it's like they call it the gateway to the north. And you know what? Like I really think that as an Indigenous person, like it is the gateway to like an Indigenous world. You know what I mean? Like there's Indigenous people all throughout Canada. But you reach a certain point where you start going north a little bit more, and the Indigenous sort of the way of living just kind of is more evident. And I think that growing up in a place that is called like the gateway to the north was really special. I was actually like raised Catholic, like Roman Catholic, and as I'm sure a lot of other Métis people were. So I went to like a Catholic elementary school and a Catholic high school and graduated Catholic and like went to church and all that kind of stuff, but it never really gelled for me, that whole world. I always knew that there was something more than just what they prescribe as like, the way to do things or like God or whatever. Like I from the like being like a little kid, I always sort of knew that there was a creator, but I just didn't know that as an Indigenous person that was my creator. And so as I grew up and I moved away from Prince Albert and I moved to Edmonton in 2008, and just sort of like wanting to get in touch more with like my Métis ancestry and my identity of who I actually am as a person. That's when I started to like reconcile being Indigenous and like still being able to believe in a higher power. You know what I mean? And like, yeah, so like growing up in PA, I was really fortunate because like I just love Prince Albert. Like I think it's such a cool town, even though there's not as nearly as many live music venues as there should be in Prince Albert. I loved growing up there, and you know, some of my lifelong friends are still there, and you know, this summer I'm planning to go back and visit.
Nice. You should definitely check out Voices of the North. I mean, that's where I got my start in 2015, and so much talented people and bands. Like, do you want to talk about like great bands? Most of the best bands came from Saskatchewan.
Oh yeah,
like New Horizon, Just the Boys, Constant Reminder, young guys that are up and coming. I could go on and on and on and name all these great, and you're surrounded by all these awesome musicians here. So did you have any of that influence growing up? Like, what was life like for you? How did you get your start in music?
Great question. Like first I want to actually tell a story about this memory that I have. I must have been like, I don't know, I was younger than 11 because I know when I moved away from this very particular house, like my first sort of house that I grew up in, I know that I was 11 when I moved out of that house with my family. But prior to that, I had a friend who lived across the street. His name was Taryn Roberts, and his brother Dylan Roberts.
Terry Lee Roberts?
No, Taryn.
Oh, Taryn. Okay.
Yeah. So this dude and his brother, they were like best friends. We'd always be hanging out at each other's houses. But hey, Stan, how's it going?
Hey, Winston.
So his dad was in a band, and like, it was just loud fucking music in the basement. And I remember being over there and being like, I can barely handle this. Like I gotta leave or something like that. But I remember the saying breach of trust. I remember being like, where have I heard that saying before or whatever? And then the funny thing is when you and I and Stun were in the Indigenous music residency last year in February in Manitoba, and Marty Ballantyne was one of the mentors there. He is in breach of trust.
Yeah.
So I
whoa, Twilight Zone, right? It all comes from. Oh.
So like that. So Marty Ballantyne was in a band with my best friend's dad. And I was in the basement while they were rehearsing, like my ears bleeding because they were so loud. So like you talked about influence and how I got my start in music. It's like, I was there. It was like bursting my eardrums is how I got started. But in all seriousness, though, the reason I really got started in music is because my brother Nathan is a fiddler. He's like a champion fiddler, and so he and I kind of just started playing some of those old time fiddle tunes. So he was learning from our cousin John Arkand how to play the fiddle, and I learned how to play the guitar by learning how to back up my brother playing the fiddle.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, the old Métis tunes.
You're prepared for that one.
I'm like, yeah, Métis. Hold on, I got a song for that.
So that's how I got my start in music, was backing up my brother on the fiddle, like playing guitar for my brother. Big John McNeil, Red River Jig, Whiskey Before Breakfast, Tennessee Waltz, all those great tunes. That's how I got my start in music.
That's everyone starts off someplace, and you always got it. Now, how did your brother get a start in music? Ooh.
He literally got a violin for Christmas, and we were struggling to like listen to him learn how to play it for a couple months, and then finally he picked up like, I don't know, it was like I don't even know what song. He finally got it.
Yeah, and once you get it, it's like, yeah,
thank God.
You can probably hear it a million times, and then finally when you get it, it's okay, you can stop now. My ears,
exactly,
my ears don't hurt.
He's like a goose learning how to talk for a while there.
And now he's probably pro, right? Of course.
Oh, He's one of my favorite fiddle players because his intonation is just so spot on. He's got such a great ear, and his phrasing and his vibrato is just like so beautiful to listen to.
Man,
Yeah.
Some of my favorite, what you're talking about was John Arcana, one of my favorite. My Late Uncle Homer, one of my favorite. So many great fiddle players. Patty Custerock, Alex Custerock.
Oh yeah.
Donnie Larondo. You go to any of these Métis Fest, man, you hear some of the best. The best.
Dude,
and
Donnie
different.
Pronto.
Donnie Pronto's great. Love him. Oh, great playing. So what's life like as a musician? Well, if somebody's asking you, so what's your life like as a musician? Is it all what it's cracked up to be? Something like that.
Well, that's tough to say because like as a musician, you sort of need to define what success means to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like for some people, being in front of 1,000 people at a show, night after night on the road, that's what success means to them. And then for other people, it's like, well, I just want to write good songs. And for other people, it's okay, I want to be played on the radio. So like life as a musician is a constant, you're constantly reevaluating what success means to you. So these days, what I've been focusing on has just been writing good tunes.
Yep.
Putting out quality recordings and using the relationships and the friendships that I have at radio to try and get the songs heard. So that's been, because of the COVID and everything like that, that's been my focus. And I'm sure once all the pandemic stuff dissipates, that we'll go back to me maybe focusing more on live shows. But as it stands right now, success to me is just people listening.
Yeah.
Because that's go ahead.
If you were to have one song right now you'd want to share with anybody, what would the song be, and why would you want to share that song like right now? Oh yeah,
okay. Here, let me get this going here. So the song that I actually
let's share your screen. Let's do that.
Let's share my screen. Maybe I'll let you listen to the song and watch the video, and then maybe we'll talk about the song after.
Yeah, sure. Sounds good.
Okay.
What's the song called?
The song is called Catherine, and we're gonna listen to that one. And we're gonna
Catherine with a K?
No, with a C.
Like this?
I can't see you. I'm sharing my screen.
All right.
Can you see that? Can you see that?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, let's do this.
There's a res car.
This is exactly. This is called Catherine.
You got to turn it up a little bit on your end, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, we can barely hear that on our end.
What's that?
We can barely hear that on our end.
I don't know why. Was it working before?
Yeah, it was working before when we did sound check. So did you switch something out, headphones or?
No.
No? Could you put your headphones to the Yeti?
I'm not using a Yeti. I don't know what that is. Who are you calling a Yeti?
The microphone.
I don't know what that is.
The 360. Yeah, we could probably just watch the video and we can barely hear it, but it should be okay.
Okay, well that's strange though. Let me just 2 seconds, bro. 2 seconds.
She's standing like a statue on fire.
Okay. If it was working before, I don't know why it's not working now. That's the thing. It's a little strange.
Stun, be our guy. Can we hear that? When's done? Yeah, I couldn't hear anything.
Okay, so Stun's saying he can't hear anything.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just do this. Let's just do this, bro.
Yeah, it's just pretty quiet. You're going to go live, aren't you? You're going to play it. You're going to do it. Do it.
Let's do this.
There we go.
Check 1, 2. You guys good?
Oh yeah, nice and loud and clear. Catherine by Electric Religious. Here we go.
She is standing like a statue on fire. Keeps on staring like a doll without a smile. And I fall even deeper in love with a mohawk flower that watches from above. I walk alone. I see you all around. My love has grown, yeah. If water flows alone, do you let it be? If the sun could see the moon, what would it feel? I'm gonna go back home. Been out for too long, gonna find my own back where I'm from. Oh, Catherine, standing there in porcelain. Oh, Catherine, yeah, you went away and life began. Take me to the clouds, I wanna see your scars. Are you Madonna or a lily of the Nile? And I fall even deeper in debt, never paying for anything that I've said. I walk alone. I see you all around. My love has grown, yeah. If water flows alone, do you let it be? If the sun could see the moon, what would it feel? I'm gonna go back home. Been out for too long, gonna find my own back where I'm from. Oh, Catherine, standing there in porcelain. Oh, Catherine, yeah, you went away and life began. Who's that? Who's there?
Everybody on Facebook, they're all clapping and cheering.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
And we barely get to hear that anymore, but it is what it is. So let's talk about the song. Where did that song come from, and how did you come up with it, and the songwriting part of it?
Yeah, man, like it all started when I was trying to reconnect with who I kind of was. And so, or who I am, not was at all.
You're a different person today.
Who I was is nowhere near who I am. So like I was trying to connect with who I am, and I was just going back through all of my ancestry. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of my European side of my family came from Scotland, the Campbells, and Belgium, the Bakers. And so what ended up happening was when my Scottish forefathers came to North America and they landed in sort of like the New York area, that's the Mohawk territory, that's the Haudenosaunee, that's, you know, Kenyan Kahaka, that the whole area is Mohawk. And so I was just reading up a bunch of information about that area and just trying to learn, like, okay, so if my Scottish forefathers ever like married people or whatever, like who might they be? And I couldn't really find that much information, but this figure, sort of like this historical figure, actually came up. Geteri Dekaguita. Her name is Catherine Tekakwitha in English, But it turns out that Leonard Cohen actually wrote a book about her. It's called Beautiful Losers. In the first part of the book, he's actually speaking about her. So the book is set in like the 70s or the 60s or something like that. But he's speaking about her as if he's in love with her. He's in love with this historical figure named Catherine. And so I took that meaning, and I was just like, you know what? Like, if my Scottish forefathers were there in the 17th century, maybe they ran into Gederi, maybe they ran into Catherine. And so I started thinking of like, how could I take what Leonard Cohen wrote about being in love with Catherine and relate that a little bit more to myself personally? Yeah, and like it really just came about me with this. That was just it. And I read that she actually has there's like this porcelain statue of her somewhere in Quebec, and so. Yeah,
we're just gonna check out the video.
Oh, sure, yeah, please do. Yeah, so
Can you tell us about the song?
I read that there was this porcelain statue in Quebec, and so I was thinking to myself, like, okay, so if they're gonna make a porcelain statue of an Indigenous person, I don't think they're gonna make her smiling ear to ear. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she's gonna stand there proud and strong and like
exactly,
probably with a feather. Oh, that'd be awesome.
Oh, dude, and so I started imagining that picture in my head. So like she's standing there like a statue on fire, meaning that it's this passionate, proud, strong porcelain. And then like she was standing like a statue on fire, keeps on staring like a doll without a smile, meaning that like there's sadness in her eyes. And so that's where that sort of lyric came from. And we're watching the video now. And so the woman that you see in this, the beautiful Indigenous woman, Diana Mahoney, who did such a great, amazing job. You see her as all of these different characters. So there's a line in the song where it's like, I walk alone, I see you all around, my love has grown. And so we wanted to convey that in the music video, being that like she is everywhere and we are everywhere as Indigenous people, still here, right? That type of thing.
Yeah. And
so that's that was sort of the deal with the concept of the music video. So this person is just like, tired, he's frustrated, he's traveling from place to place, and he can't really escape this person who he really doesn't even want to escape. So in this next part that we're watching right now, you can sort of see her transforms into the chef.
I've been to that restaurant. Where is that?
This Sherbrooke pub in Edmonton. So now she's playing pool. And so like the whole concept was that I see you all around type thing, meaning that like our ancestors are everywhere. And so that whole spiel, if water flows alone, like we really tried to get really visual and lots of imagery into this music video.
So all your lines kind of go along and coincide with how the music video goes, right?
Yeah, well,
the lyrics.
Yeah, exactly. The director, Jarvis Grenier from Hot Shots Films, did an amazing job of really interpreting the lyrics well, in my opinion. So there she is as me.
As you.
Yeah.
So she's a part of you and you're a part of her. And she's like, yeah.
Exactly. Okay. And then now she's the waitress. And so like during this next part, we wanted to sort of try and convey the feeling of her sort of being still like a spirit, or like a, because she was the very first canonized Indigenous saint. She's a legitimate saint in the Roman Catholic Church. So there's a dichotomy there too that doesn't quite make sense with the way that she lived and with the way that we try to live as well. Like what does the church have anything to do with it? But the church said no, she's a saint, which I always found like kind of interesting. So finally he goes back home, like I mentioned in the chorus, and it's her all along.
Oh, that's a great story, and so much can get told with our songwriting, with our history, and you have the ability to walk in both worlds as non-Indigenous and as Indigenous. That's your gift, right? So when you're talking about the church. We can take all of our lessons from there. The ones that are good, of course, not the ones that were bad. And the same thing with our culture. Like there's good and bad in every. But yeah, man, you have the ability to be able to tell stories. And I didn't know what the story was behind the song, and that's what I was gonna like try and find out. Is like, who's that person? What's the symbolism behind it? How can we see her everywhere you go? So all of my questions basically got answered with that. It's so deep, and that's so cool. So that song itself, we'll talk about, the Indigenous Music Countdown got to what, number 7, 6, 7?
Yeah. It topped out at number 7 on the IMC, which is like I'm super thankful for. That's an organization that I absolutely love to support. I'm on there every day voting for people and just love it.
Vote for me. I'm new. I'm new to that.
Oh, dude, I've been voting for you.
No, yeah, I'm brand new. Like, this is my second week, I think, and it's like I'm so nervous. I'm like the new kid on the block. Like, when you first day of school and you get all excited and all your classmates have been there before you. And it's like I see so many of my friends and family that are on the IMC, and finally I'm on there like the new kid on the block. And it's like, hey, don't forget about me.
You deserve it, man.
Yeah, it's been a lot of hard work. But let's talk more about your music, man. Is there any other songs that you wanna share, or like we could talk about? What does it feel like? What did it feel like to be up on stage when you were performing live? And you showed me an awesome picture of you and a very, very awesome blues guy that we both look up to. Remember?
Yeah, Chris Stone, right?
Kingfish. You showed me a picture of Kingfish. Yeah.
Yeah, Kingfish. So Kingfish and I are good friends. We met 5 years ago because I brought him up to play in his first ever Canadian show in Edmonton. I brought him up to play at Have Mercy, this bar that I was managing at the time. And so we got him up to play 2 nights in a row, and he just tore the roof off the place. He wasn't even 18. Like, we had to get special exemptions from the AGLC for him to play. And his mom was his manager at the time. Her name's Princess. May she rest in peace. Yeah. And so, yeah, like we just hung out that whole weekend and just became friends. And I got to play with him that night, just sort of like off the cuff. I think we did like a blues version of House of the Rising Sun or something like that.
Nice.
But then I was managing this other blues bar in town, and we got him to come back. We booked him again. And so that picture that I showed you was when he called me up on stage to perform that night. He's incredible. He's a gentle soul and just a fantastic musician. Kingfish. Check him out if you haven't.
There you go, folks. Kingfish, give him a shout out. One of the best blues ones. Honestly, like, kid can play. I saw YouTube videos of him. His stuff gets shared all the time. So
he's definitely a phenomenal guitar player. Very virtuosic.
Any obstacles, like anything that has gotten in your way, like from when you're younger all the way to where you're at now? I know obstacles could mean a different thing to different people. Anything and everything from the songwriting aspect of things to finding the right players, and just the stuff that you had to overcome in order to get to where you're at today. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't like I didn't really get like a free ride anywhere. Like a lot of people get like scholarships or like their parents save for their education or whatever. And like it's not that I hold any grudges against anybody, but like I had to do kind of like a lot of it on my own and like pay for everything. So like that was kind of an obstacle. I sort of started my adult life a little bit behind the 8 ball.
Yep.
Being like, not all that good with money, not very good financial skills, and being an 18-year-old kid away from home for the first time, like there's just temptations out there, and then I completely fell into.
Yeah.
And so like that was a huge obstacle, even though at the time as a young person it seemed like I was actually like sort of like making it. Like bartending at the best live music venue in Edmonton, and like getting wasted till 10 in the morning every weekend. And so like those were sort of obstacles that, like, although they seemed like they were good things at the time, that I see now being like, wow, what like wasted years, even though there was lots of good memories. So that was one thing, sort of like getting a handle on substance abuse and drinking and all that kind of stuff. So Big obstacle.
Speaking of which, my sister used to live right by Sherbrooke Pub, so that's why I said, "Hey, I've been there."
Oh shit!
So my younger days, my sister used to live on 129th and 119th Ave. So it was literally just down the back
across
alley,
the back alley, yeah.
Across the back alley. So I was like, I know that freaking place. So watching your music videos,
that's hilarious. Because like I actually like work a couple days at Sherbrooke Liquor.
Oh, okay.
Nice. So
they're right next door. Yeah.
Exactly.
The liquor store's right next door. Not that I know or anything, but yeah, I know. We've been there. Closes at 2. Last call is 150. I'm just kidding. So the triumphs, the good stuff. We can talk about, more obstacles or right into the good stuff.
Everybody shares sort of the same obstacles in this business. You know what I mean? Like as an Indigenous person, we have one more layer to it and a few other, social layers as well to get through. But those just make the triumphs that much sweeter.
Oh yeah.
And so like some of the amazing things that have been happening to me this year was when we released Catherine, it went to number 1 on Sirius XM, which was insane. And you had a single number 1 too a couple years ago too.
Yep.
Good job. Anyways, the Film and Video Association of Alberta actually selected the video as an outstanding performance or outstanding music video for 2021. And then that video also got picked up by the International Music Video Awards in London, England. So it was an official selection for there too. And just like, all the just great comments and response that I've gotten to that song has just been so heartwarming. And we just released a new single that has also been doing quite well. We were featured in American Songwriter, the magazine and the online magazine, and so that was a real honor because they took the time to sit down and ask me like what's going on in your life, how do you write songs, and so that was I was super fortunate. And so that video actually is also a selection at the International Music Video Awards in London. So both of my videos are just, for lack of a better word, killing it.
They're blowing up, man. What one is that? Which song?
So that's for One More Night.
Okay. Did you want to share that with us?
Well, how about I'll sing you a little bit of it and then you'll get the vibe and you can go stream it on Spotify if you want to listen to it.
Sounds good. Here we go. One More Night by Electric Religious.
These hard weeks come crashing down. I'm just waiting for my brothers, to come. These hard weeks come crashing down. I'm just looking for a lover, Drink up, gotta move on, but I gotta learn to leave you alone. I'm gonna clean up, get right, but I gotta have just one more night.
One More Night. Let's talk about that song. Like, that sounds like a party song, or like, how would I describe it? You're hanging out with the boys. You're having boys night out, something like that. How would you describe that song?
Yeah, I mean, One More Night is a party anthem. It's meant to be listened to at the club. It's meant to be listened to when you're partying with your friends. But the story behind the song is that I think that like everybody, like humans are fallible in a way. Oh yeah, we'll check out the music video too while I talk about it.
Okay, here we go.
Noise.
As you have Blues on White.
No, this is at a bar. This is at a bar in North Edmonton called the Aviary. It's one of my favorite live music venues. And, with all of these live music venues or live music videos or whatever, we wanted to support the people that we love.
Yep.
And so we tried to get the venues involved and pay them the rental fee and so that they could make some cash and just try and support basically. But the story behind this song is that I think that people are fallible. People can make mistakes. You know what I mean? And sometimes people will be literally staring a mistake in the face, but they'll be
still make it.
This is a mistake, but they'll still
regret not the shot not taken. So that's kind of like, should you take the shot and
figure that one out?
Or is that the Wayne Gretzky, you miss every shot you don't take?
Well, that's the thing.
So if you take 100 shots, you're going to score 100 goals, or you're going to get really hammered if you take all those shots on the bar.
2 for 1 tequila, man.
2 for 1. Oh, man. Yeah, so, when I lived in Edmonton, I'll tell my story really quick. When I lived in Edmonton, every night there was a place you can go drink.
Yeah.
There was no shortage of pubs, no shortage of karaoke, no shortage of anything. So like what you're talking about, there was always, 2 for 1 tequila, or, go to Cowboys and you get the little $1 or 25-cent draft. Oh, those are gross. But anyway, back to the song, back to the party anthem.
Well, that's what I mean. So you're staring a mistake in the face and you don't quite know, well, should I make this decision? Right here, he's looking at her being like, should I make this decision? And sometimes those decisions work out for the good and sometimes they don't work out well at all. And so I just wanted to capture that moment of being how, am I going to say yes to this decision? Am I going to say yes to this moment? Because this moment could change your life. You know what I mean? For better or for worse. And so I wanted to capture that in a song and also make it sort of accessible enough that people could be making those bad decisions while listening to this awesome song.
But you don't condone anything, right? That's the thing, is you have to be able to. It's we condone people having shots and picking up people in the bar and partying. We've all been there. I mean, younger days, pub crawl days, I could tell you a little bit about those when I was, at Rum Jungle. Then we go to Diamonds and then Standard and Cowboys and back to Rum. Even when the Globe was alive, I've seen all sorts of tricks in the bar and, just a night out in Edmonton. Just so many friends you've made. Even to this day, they're like, oh, heck with it, let's go talk to her. And if you didn't talk to that person, you wouldn't make a friend. I'm still friends with people that are in the industry, that were in the industry. Now they're, got buddies that are in World Financial that used to manage bars.
Yeah.
And even old bar owners, they're different businesses now. But yeah, that's a cool song.
Well, it's there's sort of this party family that you have.
Yep.
And then there's the music family that you have, and then there's the actual family. So I mean, everybody's gone through something like this in their life, and so that's what this song is all about.
Industry nights on Sundays.
Hudson's on White.
Hudson's.
Yeah, and
there you go.
We're looking at it right now, but I need to make a huge thank you to Factor and to the Edmonton Arts Council and to Alberta Foundation for the Arts and to Alberta Music and to Manitoba Music. And this next chapter in my career and in my life would not have happened without them.
Yeah. You also got to support, it goes back to the relationships that you had, what you're talking about, work, family, party, family, that kind of stuff. Awards. Have you gotten any awards? And if you didn't, you should.
Well, thanks, man. But at this point, all I have is the what's the word I'm looking for? I'm just thankful that I've gotten nominations, is what I'm trying to say. Nominations
are huge too. That gets your name out there, because sometimes people don't even make it through the nomination process and to actually be nominated. And for having your music videos halfway across the world, 8 hours in the opposite direction, that's huge. That's amazing.
Yeah. So I was lucky enough in 2009 to be nominated for, well, at the time it was called Aboriginal Artist of the Year at the SCMAs. And I was nominated for Artist to Watch at the Edmonton Music Awards. And then just this past month, I was nominated for Metis Artist of the Year at the Summer Solstice Indigenous Music Awards.
There you go. That's huge. Those are. I should change this to like nominations and awards.
Yeah, well, whatever.
Yeah.
Like it's all good. I'm not stopping here, and I'm thankful for those nominations. They mean just as much, just to be recognized as a part of the community, right?
Revolution.
Yeah. So there's no music video for this one. This one was off. This one is off of our first record. This song spent multiple weeks at #1 on the IMC. This one sort of like started my relationship with radio. And it's just the reason I wrote it is because I felt that there was like a creative revolution happening where it's like the arts, we were going to have to start leaning more on the arts to heal our society. And so I started thinking about all the different types of revolutions that were happening in my life. And so the first verse is about the creative revolution. And then I know a lot of very strong women and female identifying people and their revolution of taking back, some of the respect that they're given, they need to be given. So I wrote the second verse kind of about that too. So yeah, I'll play Revolution here for you.
Sounds good.
All right, enjoy.
Choking up, it's 4 a.m. The sky's dark and the day begins again. Sleeps another, but she's not my friend. She left me last night for another. The day grows older and I'm still wired. I'm far too restless to be inspired. Outside of these walls is a wonderful world. Listen to the sound, there's revolution lurking in the city. In the city. Listen to the sound, there's revolution lurking in the city. In the city. Only wants to love, but she's never gonna love anybody but herself. She only wants to grow, but she's never gonna grow if we always cut her down. Listen to the sound, there's revolution lurking in the city. In the city. Listen to the sound, there's revolution lurking in the city. In the city. Listen to yourself, you got a heartbeat. Yeah, sitting pretty, sitting pretty. Listen to the sound, this revolution lurking in the city. In the city. Come on.
All right, there you go, folks. Revolution by Electric Religious, Mr.
Thank
Brandon
you.
Baker. So where can folks support your journey here, like moving forward?
Yeah, and like I'm gonna be completely honest, where I need the most support is on Spotify. I need people to listen to the music. I need people to follow me and save the songs. And I want people to, be in the know about new music coming out. And that's the best way. That and Instagram, which I'm the most active on, is Spotify and Instagram. That's the best way for somebody to support my journey. And picking up a CD would be a great way too. On when Tragic Lover's out, you can pick it up on our website or on Bandcamp, and you can absolutely purchase one of those debut records. Yeah, no, on both platforms as well.
All right, here's your Spotify artist long thing code, but I'm not gonna. I'll copy it and I'll post it to this Facebook page. But yeah, there's Spotify. That. Okay, so there's Spotify. There's also I was just checking out your website here, electricreligious.com, where people can go get some of your updates.
Yeah,
and also the Facebook page. Follow them on Facebook, ladies and gentlemen. Check them out. going to the top, Brandon Baker. So we're going to end off right here. Heart to heart. Brother, ever since we first met at the Indigenous Music Residency, there was a connection right away for like, because we were sitting beside each other. Other than that, like the music, that was the best place on earth, man. How many creative people we're surrounded by, and just to be able to inspire. And what you're talking about is like, right now, it is the arts. It is the people that are going to wake the world up. And that's one of my songs is like, you know, it's time. Right now when people are crying, they need to heal a little bit. So it's going to be artists that, you know, my great grandfather said, my people will sleep for 100 years and it'll be the artists that wake them up. Who was that?
Louis
Who was
Riel.
that? There you go. Louis Riel, king of the Metis, right? So there you go. Great grandfather. Little quote for him. So I think you're awesome. I think you're amazing. You're a great songwriter, one heck of a guitar player, one heck of a person. And too bad we didn't meet when we were in Edmonton. I probably would have been a Blues on White just about every week, but I was too busy running pub crawls and doing my thing in the city. And it is what it is, man. You're an awesome guy. Just keep up the good work, and you got so much talent and a lot more coming out of you. And just you're awesome.
Well, hey, man, I feel the exact same way about you. I'm looking forward to all the stuff that's coming out soon from the JL camp. Jarrid Lee. Yeah, man.
Thank you. Cool. All right, so we'll leave it at that. Electric Religious, you guys go follow him right now. Go like all of the social medias and stuff, and we'll leave it at that. See you next time, brother. Appreciate it.
Looking forward to the next time we see each other, man.
All right, brother. So you have it, Electric Religious. We all have a story, and that story right there is great. You know, grew up in Prince Albert, moved to Edmonton, surrounded by music, inspired by music, and one of the greats, of course, was Marty Ballantyne. I got to meet him 6 years ago when I debuted at Voices of the North. Just gonna get some music going here for you guys. So next week might not have anybody, but for the most part, this thing is coming to an end with the live music anyway. So we'll get back to work, and hopefully we can all gather together safely. And I really appreciate you guys, you know, spending your Saturday night here with me and listening to none other than Electric Religious, Brandon Baker, all the way from Edmonton, born and raised in Prince Albert. And we'll end it off with this, a little bit of some Métis stuff. So there you go, the Backstage Pass with yours truly, Mr. Jarrid Lee. And the Métis. And no, I can't jig.
Thank you.